Creatives, how are you? Welcome back to the Nerd Creative channel, Build the Moomin House, Box 10, Part 1. Grab yourself a coffee, sit back, relax and enjoy. So, Box 10, here we are. It's arrived, it's here. Let's just open it up and see what we get inside. So, as always, we get our 4 magazines, which are 33, 34, 35 and 36. And we get our components for this build. We also have a little gift in here. Just open it up, see what we get. This is the gift that we get in box 10. It's 2 new characters. I'm just going to put them aside. And here are all the components for this build. Let's take a look inside issue 33 of the Build the Moomin House. There's a nice graphic on the front as always, and then it shows you what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be working more on the internal walls from box 9, and we'll also be doing Moomin Mama's pillow for her bed, which was also completed in box 9, and a little more history and background into the Moomins. The memoirs of Moomin Papa, The Road to Freedom. So in this issue we will be putting the finishing touches to the walls, and we'll be putting wallpaper on the walls as well, and we'll also be finishing Moomin Mama's bed with the pillowcase. So what we need to do is we need to get out everything that reflects this section of the build. See what we get inside. All the components out. So here we have the covers for the internal wall that will go onto the framework from the last. This is the wallpaper here and here, and this is Moomin Mama's pillow. So let's get the magazine open. So we've brought back the interior wall framework that we built in box 9. and we're going to attach these panels to cover up the framework. So we're going to need some wood glue. So I'm going to add some wood glue to this frame. We can be quite generous with the glue because it will be covered over. Let's go all the way around on the cross sections and also here. We can be quite generous with the glue, and I will grab a cocktail stick so that we can spread the glue evenly around. The area that the panel will be glued onto. Just move that around and get this panel, this framework glued. We're not actually really gluing these tip ends because they're going to slot into the floor. On the first floor that we constructed also in box 9. So we're just getting a generous amount of glue on here. So it's completely covered, as you can see. So what we need to do is we need to get this L panel, as you can see there, this L panel needs to sit on here and cover up the framework. Make sure it's lined up against the sides here. What I like to do, I like to use these clips to hold it in place. Just make sure it's sitting in the right place and it's flush. And then we'll start to add the clips in that will hold them in place while it dries. Okay, let's make sure it's sitting flush on the top and the bottom. We'll add the clips to hold it in place while it dries. Use as many clips as you like. To ensure that it actually is going to dry properly. I'm going to use a little bit of kitchen roll just to clean off excess glue. Add one more clip here to this side just to make sure it's being held in place. There. So just making sure it's flush at the edge. Let's just move a few of these clips off. Just make sure we have it flush on the edge. That's flush at the edge. Put the clips back in place. there. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow that to dry, and I'll come back. So this is dried now, so what we need to do is we need to attach this care panel onto this side. We need to add more glue as before, plenty of wood glue. Start covering the framework. As we did before. You can be quite generous with the glue because it's all going to be hidden behind the panel. And then let's get a cocktail stick out again and evenly cover all these areas. Quite a big section that's going to be covered. Just take your time and make sure that you've got it evenly covered. There we go. And then get this care panel and slide it into place and maneuver in it, just making sure it's flush. And then again with the clips, I'll just tighten this up a little bit to make sure it's right pushed up against. There we go. Make sure it's running flush against this side and this side. And we'll start adding our clips to hold it in place while it dries. Put one in the middle here, one on this side, one at the top, one at the bottom, another one at the bottom, one at the top. We can move the ones off here. One off here, put it inside there. this one and just slot it in there. We can remove these because that's the dry area, and just make sure that the whole area has been clipped while it dries. There we go. We'll leave that to dry and I'll come back. This section is dry now, so we'll remove the clips. See how the internal wall is coming together. So we're going to be working on this side of the internal walls, and we have these two parts here. So this one will go here and this will go here. And as before, we'll go back to the wood glue. Remember, we can be quite generous with this glue because it'll all be hidden. It'll all be hidden away behind the panel. I remember from building the internal wall on the ground floor, it's quite a simple process. It's quite easy to do compared to some of the other parts that are quite a little more challenging, but these are really easy to put together. So with the cocktail stick, just make sure that there's full coverage over all the framework, and it'll all be hidden anyway underneath the panel. If you think you're using too much glue, don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. So I've built, like I said in the early issues, I've built in the internal walls before, so I know that you can use as much glue as you like, really, you know what I mean? As much glue as you think you need to secure the panel to the framework. So we just want to get an even coverage across, just to make sure that when it does stick, it sticks well. Okay. And the cocktail stick is brilliant for this. So there we go. We've got this J panel here, and we've got to sit it on there. Make sure it's flush to the top and the bottom, and make sure, let's get a bit of kitchen roll. Just wipe off this edge on this side, and just make sure that it is flush against this, and just make sure that it's flush top and bottom and side, and then start clipping it together. So I'll put a clip here, and as you can see, the wall is curved, so we want to make sure it's clipping to that curve. Okay, I think that slid up a little bit as I clipped that. Let me just straighten that up and press it in place. And I'm going to do it right in the center of that curve there. it is kind of pulling on it. Let me just line it up again. Just make sure it's lined up flush. I'll start at the bottom. Just give it a little wipe down, and then start clipping it, because it is going to start to pull against what we're doing, because it's a curved wall. It will try to pull away from what we're trying to achieve, but we want it to do what we want it to do. So I'm going to put a clip, a little wipe there, all the excess glue that's pouring out. Let's make sure that is still flush. So I'm going to clip right on the curve there, and then making sure it's still flush. I'm going to put another clip here, and then I'm going to clip it on this curve here, right on the curve. And we'll clip the sides. Give that a little wipe. As many clips as you feel that you need for it to hold it in place. You could be quite generous with the clips. I think I'll just use them all up. All the clips that I have, I'll just use them all. Probably need to get some more clips because they keep breaking. Some of them keep breaking, so I just want to put one in the center here. There we go. So you see, this is the other side, and as you can see, all the glue here, can you see? All the excess glue that's seeping out of the frame is all going to be covered over, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to leave that to dry. I might just move one clip and just put it on the corner there. There. Move that clip up there. There you go. All glued, all clipped together. And when we come back, I'm just going to step away while that dries. We'll place this on here. So this panel has dried now. Just take the clips off. You can see as it's curved round here, it's a nice curving effect going on. And we've got our double-sided panels done. So we've just got this last panel to fit in. It's quite bent in a weird shape, but it's fine. We'll glue it. We'll glue it and we'll clip it together. So let's add more wood glue. Including this new section that we added along with the frame. Okay, and then glue cover both these areas. Okay. Cocktail stick and just spread the glue evenly across. Like I say, it doesn't matter how much glue you use, because the panel will cover it all up. Okay, and that, in here. And then this side. Just make sure it's all covered over with the wood glue. Then we'll put this final panel in place. It's quite buckled, so let's just clean off some of this excess glue where we can. Just make sure we've lined it up so it's flush on all sides, top and bottom. Let's clamp it in place, clip it in place there and here. Okay, move to the edge, clean off the excess glue. Just make sure that it's flush. Just flush up there. Add another clip here. I'll sit one in the middle. Just make sure that's flush up to the edge. Add another clip. And then one on the corner. Let's clean the excess glue off again. There. And clip up here. Let's get that in the corner so it covers both sides. There. Put another clip inside here. We'll just use all the clips up. So that we know it's completely held in place. And then we'll come back and we'll take all the clips off so we can see where we are. Okay, this section's dry now, so I'm just going to take the clips off it. There we go. See, there's the panels on the internal walls done on both sides. A nice clean opening for the door that will be going here. So in the next video we'll be putting wallpaper on this side and on this side. and we'll also be finishing Moomin Mama's bed with the pillow. So I'd like to thank you for your company, and I'll see you in the next video.